Welcome back to Cooking with White Rock Recipes. We're doing chicken Mennonite. It's a copycat recipe from my hometown. And you want to start off making the dredge with about 1 cup of flour, half teaspoon of curry, yum, half teaspoon of poultry seasoning, half teaspoon of ground sage, half teaspoon of minced onion, half teaspoon of garlic salt, half teaspoon of parsley, half teaspoon, oh no, that's a full teaspoon of paprika. I like the smoked paprika too. And about a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. And about a teaspoon of salt. Give that a good stir, get it mixed up really well. And break out the chicken. Do not wash it in your sink. That's gross. Just use it directly from the package. Push it down in there. Use your hands. It'll be messy. Just have a sink full of hot dish water ready to rinse your hands, wash your hands. Get it nice and coated. We're using chicken legs. You can use chicken thighs. Most importantly, you just want to make sure that it still has the skin, because as the skin bakes, it's going to let off those really yummy juices, and then you're able to use that later on in the recipe. Get those nice and covered. And these were rather big, so I put them in my oven at about 385 and cooked them longer. About halfway through, you want to flip them over so that you can get them nice and crispy and golden on the other side. And there again, if you need to pause the video to clean up your messes, go ahead and pause the video. Take some extra cracked pepper and just sprinkle that over. You can also sprinkle other seasonings if you want. I find that I don't really need them with this recipe, so just a little salt and pepper if you want right here, and you're good to go. Next, you want to take about a half a stick of butter and kind of lay butter pats all over the chicken. Please use real butter, no margarine, unless you like to eat plastic. And those are ready to go in the oven. While that's in the oven, you can get your mashed potatoes and your stuffing prepared. But in the meantime, grab a nice cup and throw yourself in some tea and enjoy. Next, we're just peeling taters. It's not science. So yeah, when you're done peeling your potatoes, just stick those peelings right directly into a baggie and put them in your freezer so you can toss them into your compost pile. It's snowing. I'm not going outside to do that right now. So do not give potatoes or any kind of potato scraps to your chickens. It is poisonous to them. So just kind of a little homesteading hack. I just toss it in the freezer and get ready to throw it in. And chopping taters. Everyone has their own way of chopping potatoes, and I would probably leave this out, but I'm making these videos for my kids, grandkids, and hopefully eventually sometime great-grandkids. So they may just be learning how to cook. And this, for me, is the safest way. If I try any other way, I typically will cut myself. So this just works for me. It's what I do. So if you do it another way, then great. Go do it another way. But if my grandkids or great grandkids are watching this, just play it safe. As you can see, I did have to pick them up because I almost did cut my hand. So just go ahead and slice those babies up and then use the cutting board and the knife and just watch your fingers. Yeah, that's where I almost cut my finger. And you can use chicken stock to make your mashed potatoes if you would like. Yeah, just your reminder, keep everything clean as you go. If you need to pause, do those dishes up, pause and do the dishes. So anyway, you can use chicken stock. I usually do when I'm making mashed potatoes, but it's chicken Mennonite and the recipe doesn't really need it, that stronger chicken flavor. So water is just fine for this case, and that'll leave your chicken stock for another recipe. All right, so I've got my stuffing up in the upper left-hand corner ready to go in, and you want to grab that 24-ounce container of sour cream and just dish it all on out. I'm not about measuring, so I don't know how much is in there other than just what the package says. Now this part's optional. I've done it both ways with cream of chicken and without cream of chicken. I prefer it without cream of chicken, but um, everyone else in the family does kind of like it. If they're not native to Garrett, you can leave out, or they typically like it with the cream of chicken. If you're native to Garrett, sometimes they like it without. So it's going to be up to you. Try it both ways, see how you like it. But this is the way I do it when I'm cooking for everybody. Get that stuffing up, ready to roll. You have to have these main parts of the meal, or it's just not chicken Mennonite. You got to have the stuffing, you got to have the taters, and then of course the chicken and the sauce. So during the holidays, I'll make homemade stuffing. I prefer it, but during the year for quick, meals, I'll use the boxed stuffing. It works just fine. Throw a little bit extra pepper and salt. About a half cup of milk. I think I ended up adding a little bit extra milk, just kind of go with how thick you like it. I think I ended up using like 3/4 of a cup. Get that nice and stirred. And you do this obviously while your chicken is baking. So put that on low heat, not simmer. You want it on low because you do want it to come to a boil. Then transfer out your chicken out of your pan and just scrape those yummy bits and goodies directly straight into your sauce. That's the key I found. Did I mention this is not a diet meal? Just saying. And get that stirred up. And if you're a Garrett native, this is where you're going to want to add a lot of yellow food coloring. There was always questions as to what makes it yellow. There is no secret. It's food coloring. So if you're a diehard Garrett fan and you want your chicken Mennonite yellow, just break out the yellow and toss a few squirts in there and you'll be good to go. And stir that till you can bring it to a low boil. You don't want to scorch it, but yeah, you're almost done. All you have to do is finish preparing your mashed potatoes, however you want, and then get ready to get it plated up. Yum. Put all those ingredients onto your plate, cover and smother it with Mennonite sauce all over, and you are good to go. Enjoy.